So we'll discuss a couple of things more. One is like how do we scroll down in a page, and second thing is how to use code gen, which is left out in terms of discussion. So how do you use code gen to automatically generate the code? Okay, so this is about the login page. Let's write in the same way. We'll create another file for dashboard.feature. And here we'll start writing in the same way, which is like feature, then provide a feature name, let's say uh, dashboard page test. And here we can say that, let's say this file consists of all the test cases related to dashboard page. And then we can start writing the scenario name, let's say. What we can do is we have seen at the time of dashboard. So here we can say it out as, let's say view a product details example. So we're just trying to write a view a product details. So this will be just view a product details that we want to see, and that we want to say as a scenario name. Then what will be the dashboard? See, we have already validated login page. So first user have to log in into the application. And as soon as user logged in into the application, they'll get given I am on the dashboard page. Given I am on the dashboard page. And after that, we can say like when I click on a product, let's say we can select a product name over here. So what we can do is so first, like to go to the dashboard, we have to log in into the application, right? So after logging into the application, we can say like, let's say when I click on an iPhone 13 Pro view button, then I should see the details of the iPhone 13 Pro. Okay, so what we are trying to say, we are trying to write in the same way as we write for the manual test cases. And that we have also gone through in terms of the previous session to understand how do we write the feature file. Basically, feature file will consist of the manual test cases itself, right? So what we are saying is when I click on a product, then I should see the product details. So which product details? So you can say then I should see the this product details over here. So it is simple again, given I am on the dashboard page. When I click on a product, iPhone 13 Pro, then I should see the iPhone 13 Pro details page. Okay. But before that, we also have to log in. So so earlier we discussed like given will be a precondition before like starting the test cases. So this will be a precondition that given a user is on the dashboard page, then only they will be able to see the product. Right. So this is a precondition. This is action we are trying to do. And this is the validation we are trying to do, whether the action that we performed have been completely successful or not. Right. So that is what we are trying to do over here. But before that, we also have to log in. Right. So for that, what we can do is on the each and every other features, we can try to write a background over here. So there is a key background that we discussed, I believe, in the previous sessions. Okay, I think we have not discussed over here. So there is a key known as background. Background is basically a precondition for the feature. That means a precondition for the background. There is a background keyword which will run as a precondition for the complete this particular file, this particular feature file. What happened in terms of background? Whatever the step that we write inside the background, that will run before running each and every test cases. So let's say if you have 10 test cases, then before uh, before the first test case start, background, whatever the step that we write inside background will run. Again, before starting the next test case, which is next scenario, again a background key will run. So we can inside the background, we can give something like login into the application. We're just saying that before going to the dashboard, we have to log in into the application. Okay. So to log in into the application, we can directly also write like one particular step definition, and then we can create a step definition and log in into that. But we know that from the feature file, we already have a login available over here. So this we can directly copy paste in terms of background feature. So we have already written this kind of things. So we can directly copy paste it over here, saying that user have to log in into the application first. And let's say if you have 10 test case available in this particular page, in that at that point of time also, we will have to write only one background. So there will be only one background in one particular feature file. Okay, able to understand?
Yes, Praveen.
Okay. So we have written a new test case, which we are saying that click on the iPhone 13 Pro details and check whether it is navigating to the details page or not. So for this, again, we have to generate a step definition that in the previous session we discussed how can we generate. We can directly run, and as soon as it will not find the step definition, so it will throw us an error here with the step definition details. Right. So it is saying for dashboard page, dashboard feature file, we do not have step definition available. So we can go to a step definition file, and then we can create a, let's say, dashboard page step definition.js. Then here we can start writing this thing. We can copy paste from here, whatever the steps that we have given in the feature file. So all those steps will be generated. And this we can copy paste directly over there. And now whatever the things that we have to write, we can write it inside this function. Okay. So let's see what all the things that we have to write. The first thing will be to get all the details, because we know that we first have to will also launch the browser, launch the dashboard, and launch the browser, create the page, and so on. So we also have to first uh, we basically have to import the login page and dashboard page on this particular in this particular step definition. So the dashboard page is named as dashboard page. Here also we have to provide. We can directly import wherever our page is existing. And we know that how to import this. We have discussed this in the earlier section. So now our goal is to, given I am on the dashboard page. That means we just have to validate whether we are on the dashboard page or not. Before this background key, we will make sure that we have completed the login test. And after that, we have to do this kind of validation, saying we are on the dashboard page. So for that, we can write a validation. What all the things we have to create? First, we have to create an object for the dashboard page. So that we can create it over here by using world constructor. Let me know, like, wherever you get stuck, I'll try to explain in one more time.
Okay, friend.
So we have just created an object for this particular class, which is dashboard page. And then we will have to call like search and view product details, where we are trying to iterate through the product, and whatever the product name that we are trying to give, wherever it is matching on that particular product, we'll click on view button. And then we have to make sure that we are on the view button, basically product view page or not. So in terms of this, we are just making sure that we are on the dashboard page. And we can also expect, we can also do an assertion that we are basically on the dashboard page. So we can write this dot. I think we have inside the dashboard page, if you see, we have written a right products, which is able to identify all the products. So we can wait for one particular product to display over here. So we can say that this dot dashboard page, and inside the dashboard page, there is a products. And on that products, we can write a locator. We can write a locator with a value, which is B. And then we can say that dot inside this itself, we have to write dot first. That means we are just trying to make it a unique, so that we can start validation by using dot to be visible. So we are saying here that if it is visible on the page, that means we are basically on the dashboard page. Okay. So where will this dot page will come from? So this dot page will come from the login feature, login page step definition, where we have defined where we have created a browser. Now, how will it come from here is because we have defined inside the dashboard page that the precondition is to log in. Login will create a page, and that page will be given to the scenario as well. Okay, as it is a precondition for this, but all these scenario inside the dashboard. Okay, so this will confirm us that we are on the dashboard page. And now we have to do saying when I click on a product, some product value, whatever the string that it is saying over here, this will basically get whatever we have defined inside a step definition, feature file. Okay, so this value will go at the time of running the test case. Whatever we have defined in the feature file will go inside this particular string value that we see over here, and will directly go inside the parameter of the function. So we can define whatever the name that we can define it over here. And this parameter we have to call when we call the functions of this one, which is search and view product details, which is taking a product name. Okay, I hope it is understandable, right?
Yes, Praveen.
Okay. So it is very simple in terms of that, like whatever we have done at the time of doing the page object model, it is same. So what we can do is we can directly copy this from here. So we can go to the dashboard page step definition, and we can copy this. And we know that there is no data at that point of time. We are getting the data from the file. Instead of this, we can directly use the parameter that we are getting from the feature file. And now we know that we have created an object, and that object we have stored inside this dot dashboard page using a world constructor. So we have to define in the same way. Now here, this is just a then part, which is a validation for the product, validation for whether we are on the dashboard page or not. So again, we can copy this one, which says that, not this one, basically this one we have to copy. So here in terms of dashboard page also, we have to change the method name, which is used for this dot dashboard, which is basically used to view the products and click on the products. So if we go here, it is this particular is for search and view product details. This is also accepting a product name. So now we can go and check what is the assertion. So we are trying to make sure that whenever it reaches to the product page, the product details page, it basically have some kind of assertion. So we can again append with async and await over here. So we are not doing any addition of the code. We are just trying to do the same thing that we have done in terms of page object model. We are repeating the same thing over here by just defining a feature file and step definition. Okay, so step definition can be considered as a test layer over here, whatever we have seen in terms of page object model. So inside this, whatever we have written the method, like called the method from the page classes and so on. So the same way we are trying to do also over here in the same way. Okay. So what did we do? We have written a given. So why are we trying to write given when and then? Because we have defined that steps in the feature file, and that we have to map in terms of step definition. So we have completed our course. We have basically completed our complete validation of the complete like steps of the feature file that we have defined. So now let's again try to. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to get the view page product name. So where did we define this? We have defined inside a dashboard page to say that there is a product available with this. So you might be wondering, like, how do we write locators over here in terms of this one, like locator -b. So what is that? If you go here and try to write a locator for the product, then you'll see like this one, which is div.cardboard, is basically able to identify all the three products. And we are interested in just getting the text value of the product because we are trying to iterate it. From here, we are just trying to iterate from each and every product and get the product name. And there we are comparing. So we are basically interested in getting the product text. And if we make it with space B, we know that how do we reach from parent to child. So in terms of writing the locators, we'll have to give the space and then write a next tag or next locator that we have to identify. So you can see here it is able to identify the product name. In terms of writing the locators that we have already gone through, so it will be chaining of the locators. So this is one locator on top. If you have to move to the from parent to child, then we can append it with dot locator and B. Any doubt till now? Okay. Okay. So now let's try to run. We have two test cases. One is available in login feature, another is available in dashboard feature. So what you can do is in terms of practice, you can write few of the test case inside the login feature, few of the test case inside dashboard feature. And then you will be able to see that whether the product is, whether the test case, whatever we have defined is matching or not. So here it is saying reference error data is not defined. That means we have used somewhere data in page step definition line number 15. So this is the data that we are trying to use. We have just copy paste. We have to change it out. It's saying line number 18, not 15, line number 18. Okay, so we are using data which we have copy pasted from the other file. So now let's try to run it again. I've just removed data. So now this time it will completely pass. So now we can see that two scenarios have been passed, 9 test steps have been also passed. Now one more thing that we have to know over here is, as we discussed earlier, that every step will only by default take 5 seconds because BDD Cucumber says that I'll only wait for maximum of 5 seconds. So that's where we have given set default time as 60 seconds over here. Now let's say we have multiple test case and we want to run it in a parallel mode. So how can we do that? Earlier we have defined uh, few of the scripts inside package.json. So we can also write in the we can also add over here in terms of the BDD Cucumber as well. We'll try to add in next couple of minutes. So how do we run the Cucumber test cases in parallel mode? So for that we have to give uh, a key over here which is known as parallel, and how many test case that you want to run parallelly, so that you can define. Let's say we have only 2 test case, but if you want to define 10 test case parallelly, you have like multiple test case, and if you want to define 10 test cases parallelly, then also that also you will be able to define it. Okay, so you can just click it over here by giving npx cucumber-js and so on. And as soon as you print it out over here, click over here. Basically, we do not have 10 test case, but whatever the test case that we have, it will start running in parallel. So we can see both of the test case launched at the same time and have been completed. Okay, so that's about how do we run the test case in parallel. Now what we can do is we can also define this script inside this one. So we can give a name, let's say Cucumber parallel test example, right? And that we can define inside this. Okay. And let's say now if you just have to call, we know that how do we call this by using npm run and then the script name that we have given. So here it is Cucumber parallel test, so that you can define it over here. If we run the same test case, you can see like it is taking the same command that we have defined over here, and it will start running both of the test case parallelly, or whatever the number of test case that we have, it will start running in parallel mode. Now we also know that like in Playwright, the test will run in a headless mode by default. So we have anyways given over here as a headless calls at the time of launching the website, launching the browser. Okay, so this was another way where we have just seen that how do we run it in a parallel mode. And now let's say if we have to generate the HTML report in terms of Cucumber, so how do we do that? So that also we can append it in the command prompt, which is by given -- format. What format, what type of report format that we are looking for. So we can say like HTML format, and then inside colon we can give basically, let's say the name of the uh, test report that you want to generate. So I'm just giving like cucumber report.html. I'm just trying to say like generate in this format, which is like HTML. What type of report? HTML report. So we have to give -- format HTML colon the name of the report that you want to generate. So if you just go over here and refresh the Explorer once, so we should be able to see that it has generated a cucumber report report.html. Now we can right click on that and copy path, and the same if we open over here. Let's say if you open over here, it will generate the report. It is saying 100% passed, just passed. 36 seconds ago, it ran. Total duration was 6 seconds. I'm working on Windows operating system. What is the version of Node? What is the version of Cucumber.js? What are the different feature files that we have run? So it is also displaying what did we do in terms of running the test cases and so on. And again, all the details available over here, whatever we have done. Now, Now what we are trying to do over here is, so this is just to generate the HTML report. Maybe we can also place this inside our script by just saying that generate Cucumber report. So let's say, or we can just say that Cucumber report and then provide all the value inside this one. Okay. And at the time of calling, we can directly call Cucumber report and PM run Cucumber report. Now, okay, we have seen one thing over here that um, the step that we are trying to do here, which is launching of the browser and creating a page. So we again have this Cucumber has also given a hooks, some kind of hooks that it has given. So that we can also take a support of hooks. So what is hooks? Hooks usually used to be a special kind of method which has some kind of steps predefined inside that. So at the time of going through with the Playwright, we saw that there are some kind of hooks available in terms of Playwright, which is before all, before each, after all, and after each. So this will also work in the same way. The Cucumber hooks that it has given, it is also have the same thing, which is like before, whenever we use before tag, that will be working as a before each scenario. That means whatever we write inside before will be working as a before running each and every test case or scenario inside. Scenario means one particular test case. That this scenario means one particular test case. So whenever we use a before tag in the hooks, and by utilizing hooks, at that point of time, it will run before running each test cases. After will again run after each scenarios or test case. Before all, as its name says, like before running all the test cases available inside a file. After all, we'll run again after running all the test case inside a file. And then we have uh, before, and then we have before step as well available over here, which is known as before step, which will run before running each and every step, before running each step of all the test cases or scenarios. Okay, and then we have after step, which will run after running each step of all the test cases or scenarios. So what is step? So this is one step. This is another step, and so on. And let's say if we want to take the what we can do inside a before. So inside a before, we know that it will run before each scenario, before each test case. So we can basically launch the browser and create a page. You can do it in before, because before running each test case, it will start running. So it will launch our browser, launch the URL that we can do it over here. After will run after each scenario. So if you want to check, like if you want to generate the status, whether it has been passed or failed, that we can write inside after. Before all, we can probably write like if you want to open any file, and after all, you can close the file. If you want to make a database connection, that we can write in before all and close the call after all in the after all. Before step, we know that it will run for each and every step. So let's say if you want to generate any um, screenshot of each and every step, that we can write inside before step hooks. After step, again, let's say if you want to check after running before step, we can basically write some of the things. Let's say before step, basically what we can do inside a before step. There are some of the examples that we can, okay, so let's first discuss about what we can do in after step. So after step, let's say if you want to take the screenshot of after running each and every step, That we can do in terms of after step. Before step, let's say inside a before step, what we can do. Let's say if you just mostly we do not use before step because it will keep on checking for each and every like it will run for before running each and every step. But if you have certain set of data that we want to use in terms of before running like step, that we can use plus inside the before step there are not much use cases available. But inside after step, we can basically take the screenshot and place it, attach it into the report if you want to generate whatever the report that we have just saw. We have just seen that this one. So inside each and every step that we generate, let's say given I'm on the login page, we can take the screenshot and attach it over here. Those things we can do in terms of utilizing the hooks. So let's create one hooks over here. I'll create a folder. I'll just give a name as support. If you want to create outside of the folder also, you can create without creating a folder. We can utilize we can write a hooks. So we can directly write hooks.js over here. And inside this, we can start writing some of the things. So first, as I said, we have to use the hooks. So that hooks, we have to import it from hooks that is like also known as annotations, which is before, after, and so on. That we have to import from Cucumber. So we can basically, let's say we'll say like I'll write a before and then we'll also use after step. And let's say, okay, before and after step equals to how do we basically import by using this one. So here we can say cucumber slash cucumber. So where are we trying to do it from? Where are you trying to import it from? Now we know that we basically have to write the complete code by self to basically launch the URL or launch the browser and launch the URL. So we have to import again playwright key from playwright test module. So that we can also write it over here from playwright test module. We are trying to get the playwright. And now we can use the before each, after and after each, and so on. So to use this, we have to use a before key. And inside this, as we know, like earlier in terms of playwright also, it used to take as a function. It takes a parameter as function, and inside that everything will go. So here also we have to do in the same way. So we can go to the hooks.js and it will take a function. We can define it as a synchronous function with the function name. And inside this, we can write some of the steps that we have to do. So what all the things that we have to do over here is, we can create a first browser. We can launch the browser by using the playwright function class that we have imported over here. So using, let's say, Chromium browser, and then we can say it as directly launch. We have discussed this in the previous session, so we can make it as headless false. And then again, we have to also create a browser context. So we can use again, as we did in terms of playwright automation. So we can use again by using this one. Here we are trying to launch the project. So by using this variable, we can create a new context. It is similar to how whenever we use browser fixture in terms of writing the playwright test. And on top of that, we basically know that we have to take a help of world constructor so that it will be available for each and every classes or each and every feature file or step definition that we'll be creating or that we have already created. So we can also utilize this by using this dot page await, and we have to create a page on the context level. So we can write it over here by creating new page. Okay. So we have launch before this. Okay, so this is something we have written inside a browser, and also we can take help of that login page. So if launch the URL. So if you want to take the help of login page to launch the URL, this step basically also these two step also we can write it inside the hooks itself. But let it be over here. Let's say if you just want to launch it between some other URL, that we can take the help inside the login test. Or inside this step definitions method itself. Able to follow here?
Yes, Praveen.
Okay, so you can practice it out and then you will definitely get like what we are trying to do over here. In initial days, it will be like a uh, bit struggle, but as soon as you follow this, you will get everything from like how do we use this, how do we use the other codes and so on. Whatever we have discussed over here. So let's say now we'll be writing for after step, like after running each and every step. Let's say if we have to check some kind of things, then that also we can define it over here. So we are trying to just define after step. You can try practicing it out, and if you get any kind of doubt, you can just again let me know so that I'll explain you whenever uh, if it is possible. So let's say what you want to do is let's say if there are test failed. So if there are any test failure have happened at that point of time, if there are any step have been failed, so we can check the result whether the result of the step is failed or not. So if the result is failed, then you can generate basically a screenshot and attach to the file. So we can also do that. So we have to, for that we have to basically get the fixture that is available inside test step result which is available in the BDD Cucumber. And using this result, we also have to get the status of the step. So we have to import status from the Cucumber. So we can import status. Now here we can say that if result dot status, that means this result will hold for each and every step whether the step have been passed or failed. So we can say like result dot status equals to status dot failed. If it is if if it has failed the script or the steps, then we can basically generate a test a screenshot, and let's say that screenshot we can capture in a variable, let's say known as screenshot. Okay, and what is the use of this? It is not only like we have to just take this screenshot, we also have to attach it over any of the attach that inside the report. So for that, we can again use a world constructor, which is having a method as attach. So whenever we use attach method, it will basically attach file to the uh, basically it will attach the file to the report that we are trying to generate. So whatever the report that we try to generate, it will attach the file, whatever the file that we are trying to attach it over here. So we can use attach, and then whatever the screenshot that we have stored over here in a something known as uh, make it as a toString, which will take a like a base 64 kind of. Why are we trying to generate it as a base 64? It's just because so that whenever we make it as a toString in terms of base reporting, we will basically get the uh, a base 64 image. What is the base 64 is, so that it will be accessible to the other person as well. So whenever we try to take this screenshot in terms of other programming language as well, we basically generate in a base 64 manner. So that will, uh, where is the screenshot? So we basically generate the screenshot in terms of so if you see here, we are getting the base 64 image, so that whenever we convert that into the base 64 image, wherever we attach, it will be visible to each and every member, whoever is having access to that particular report. If we attach the screenshot that is available inside our local, then that will not be accessible to the other person, because that will be available inside our local itself. So that will not be available to the other person in that case. Right. So here we can use this dot attach screenshot, and then this will also take a parameter that what we are trying to attach as it, and like in which format. So we can provide it, and you can see like this is taking a two. This one is data, what data that we want to attach. Second is what is the media type. Media type, whether you want to attach it in a JPG, PNG, or other format. So we can see it over here as we have given base 64. So we can attach it like base 64 image slash in a format as PNG. Okay. And let's say we'll also provide some kind of console.log. We can say it as, let's say, console.log, and then mention it as like, let's say, screenshot attached, just for checking whether the log is uh, like after running each and every step, whether it is trying to print the value or not. Okay. So what did we do here is we have just created a step. Inside this step, we are trying to check whether the result is passed or failed. And if the result is failed, then we are trying to take the screenshot, convert that into the base 64 and attach as a base 64 image PNG. Okay. So that we have defined it over here. First step, mistake as well. Already imported. Okay. Now let's try to run once again. We will also define, let's say, after step as well. Like the complete after as well. So this will basically, if we have to close anything, close any file, close database connection, we can write those kind of things after, because after will run after running each and every test case. So we can say like, let's say, I'll just give some kind of identification that it is also running. So we can say that console.log. Let's say I am the last to run. I'm the last to run. Or we can also close the browser over here if you want to close manually. But in terms of Playwright, it will automatically take care. So we do not require that. Now, if you want to run in this way by using npx cucumber-js and cucumber, so it is saying that after is not defined. So we have to also import that after step over here. Okay, and we'll again run the same command. We have given parallel test. We do not have 10 test cases, but it will run in the same way. So what it is saying is Browser.new context is not a function, so we have to define that inside the hooks. So inside hooks, we have to say it as this. This we are trying to get it from the browser, which we are getting it from Playwright. Module. Okay, so Playwright dot Chromium. We have to find it in this way. Browser dot new context. We have already given await as well. Okay, we have to provide the await over here. Is that right? Okay, now if we try to see, so now if we try to see, it should work in a proper way. So it has launched both of the test case parallelly. And it says that it two times printed I am the last student and I'm the last student because there are two test cases. So it will start both of the test cases. Now if we go and check the report over here, we can see that it has not generated any kind of screenshot. It has not attached because we are trying to check on the failure that it has to generate the report. So let's say we can just define it as, for now, we can just define it as status.passed, and on the each step that it passed, just try to attach the report. In general, we'll attach that in terms of field itself, but just want to show you that it is also working in the same way as it attached over here. So, so now we can see like it has also called screenshot attach that we had given inside over here. So now let's try to see like how the uh, report have been generated. Now, if you see on each step, it has generated some kind of, okay, why this, okay, this was for given on the login page, that is fine. And you can see over here that it is able to generate the, attach the screenshot on all the pages. So wherever we have navigated to, it has taken the screenshot and attached into the, attached in terms of um, automation as well on each and every step that it run as we have given after step. So it is also able to attach the screenshot. Okay. So this is all about, running, creating the framework, which is in the BDD Cucumber. You can have a practice as much as possible. And then we'll see like if you will get any kind of issues, I'll again be able to help you out. Okay, but have a practice for each and everything that we have discussed in the session. Then you'll get it in a better way. Okay, wherever you feel like there are any kind of uh, help that you require, you can just ping me so that I can schedule a meeting to make again, like discuss those kind of things again. One more thing I'll discuss today is data-driven testing. Like how do we do, like, let's say currently we are trying to do only one particular things, only one particular validation. Now let's see if we have to do with the multiple datas, then how can we do that? So at that time, we have seen one of a tags, one of a keyword that we have is scenario outline, right? So using scenario outline, we can do the data driven. So let's discuss that as well. How can we do? So we'll create one feature file again, which will give the name as, let's say, data driven log or data driven. Let's say data driven login dot feature. Okay, we can basically copy the same step that we have inside the login feature and paste it over here. So later we can just change the name, which is like data driven. And we can make it check the login is working as expected with different credentials. Okay, now we are trying to check for the valid scenario. You can also create one test case for the invalid scenario. Okay, so you can basically do all the combinations of, I'll just show you for one of the test cases. So here we have to define it with scenario outline. Okay, whenever we have to do a data-driven testing, we have to basically define with scenario outline. And whatever the data that we want to define, that we have to write inside examples. Okay, so that we have to write inside examples. There is certain files, certain format that it has given. So whenever we use scenario outline, we basically have to go for the data driven. That means whenever we have to use multiple data for the testing, at that point of time, we'll be going for scenario outline. And this scenario outline will basically help us in using multiple data. So that whenever we use scenario outline, we have to provide the data in terms of examples over here in a tabular form. So what do we require? We require username and password. So we can provide it here. Let's say username, and then we can provide it here, password. This is not required. So we have to give in this in the same syntax that it has given. It is a pipe symbol, then header, like heading, whatever the heading that you want to use, again a pipe symbol, again a heading, again a pipe symbol. And here now, instead of hard coding the value, we have to use the heading that we have provided over here, which is username here. And then in terms of this, which is password. So what happened over here is, what happened in terms of this is, whenever the test case will run in terms of this scenario outline, it will check where is the header, which is available as a username. So it will see like, okay, username is available. Whatever the value it will have, it will go and sit over here. So let's say we have done some data-driven testing earlier. So from here we can take the values. Though we do not have most like number of users, I'm just trying to paste it whatever we have. So in terms of, let's say, we start 1, 2, 3, and then other we have is another one we have with this one. So we can derive it over here as well by just giving a pipe symbol, then provide it over here like this, and then define again and close the pipe symbol. So this is how we basically derive the data-driven testing. Now we know that we have to generate the step definition. For login page, we already have, I am on the login page, we already have step definition. Inside the login step definition, we already have, I am on the login page. I should be able to see the dashboard page we already have. And inside this, if we say inside data driven, we have another which is known as when I enter username as this and password as this. For that also, we already have one particular feature file, which is, sorry, step definition, which is available over here. So we can again use the same as many as data that we have written inside the feature file. It will go and sit inside this parameter and we'll use over there wherever it is required. Okay, I hope you know this part, right?
Yes, Praveen.
Okay, so now let's say if we just try to run, if you just try to run this particular feature file that we have to check whether the data driven is working properly or not. So how can we do that? We can directly do npx cucumber.js -exit, and then we can provide just the path of this particular feature file. So we can just write features slash data driven. We can also run one particular feature file, data driven login dot feature. So as soon as we provide this, so we see here that, just give me a minute. So now we can see here that it ran two test cases. We basically have one, but it ran with the two different data over here, right? So if you just see this, and we'll run it again. So npx equal. Okay, so we'll see like two test cases are running one by one. Okay, and now if we try to see, okay, we did not generate the report. Let's generate the report as well by just providing, let's say, format HTML colon, let's say data driven dot HTML. So we see that the so features data driven login dot feature, and then we have to give a space. Hyphen format. We have to give a space before format, and then it will check like how many. And then we can see that it has basically generated two particular report over here, like two, it ran two test cases and it has also generated a report. So where it has generated the report that we can see here, which is data-driven.html, we can open this and check what are the test case it has run. So we can go it over here, and then we can see there is only one file, feature file that have been uh, that basically ran, and then it ran with the different things that we see over here. Okay, so this has also generated the same things, which whatever the username password we have used in terms of examples, it ran in that number of times. So it is saying first time with this, second time with this. Okay, so this is how we basically generate the data driven in terms of the BDD Cucumber. Let's run all the feature file, all the test case that we have in terms of Cucumber, and then see what, and then we'll generate one report, which is the data driven HTML. We'll run all the test case at one point of time. And whatever the number of test case that we have, it will run. As we have not given parallel, so it is running in a sequential format. So we can see like four scenarios have successfully run. One is available inside login feature, other is available inside dashboard, and then two test case we have inside this as we are trying to run as a data driven. And now if we check the report over here, it will generate for all the feature file that it has run. Within a 14 seconds, all four test cases have been completed. So all the things that we can see over here, it is attaching the login file as well. It is attaching all the screenshot as well over here. In terms of this, which is a data driven using the same steps. That's where it has not generated any like added any steps over here. But in terms of this, if you see, like it has also added or attached screenshot on all the steps. In terms of login feature also, we can go and check everything have been attached over here. Okay, so this is all about the Cucumber framework that we have discussed. Okay, so that's about the complete Cucumber framework that we have in terms of like framework generation and so on. You can practice it up. We have just generated 4 test cases, but there are a lot of things that you can do uh, like in terms of writing the test case. Okay, so that's it about uh, today's session. What we'll do is we'll continue with one more session where where I'll try to discuss one more thing, which is how do we navigate. Okay, let's complete that today. So do you have like 5 minutes, or should we continue in the next?
Can we continue in next, Praveen?
Okay, sure. So I'll take one more session, probably on Monday, and between like what you can do is you people can practice it out, whatever that we have discussed in terms of the framework. And if you have any kind of questions,